On this episode of Another Act, I'm talking with two of the most powerful voices in Hollywood, Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek, about racial diversity, gender parity, and what real progress has to look like. Two of the most high-profile voices in this industry, not to mention talents. Thank you both for doing this today.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Absolutely. You know, I love the idea of women over 45 being badasses in film. We don't get to see that enough, certainly not in a superhero world. Talk to me about the importance of that visibility, because I have a feeling that's maybe why it was a yes for you both. Let's start with you on that, Angelina.
It was the diversity and the inclusion of the whole and the family.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not a surprise for me. I'm stronger now than I was in my 20s. I think we all know that women, especially, you know, that we grow in strength. So whatever kind of version of that hasn't been considered strong is just kind of silly.
I think that women used to get older, much younger in the old days, because we were just told, brainwashed. After you have the babies, you're an old, you're no good anymore. After you have the babies, and I think little by little we believed it. Not true. Do not listen to that. I don't know why men have been determined to give us an expiration date for being sexy and vibrant and with dreams and wanting to continue to evolve and reach our greatest potentials. It should be later in our lives. You know, we should continue to evolve. And now we're looking hot in our 50s, women. It's not like before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was very exciting for me.
Yeah. You know, and I want to go back a little bit, Angelina, because you said something that stayed with me when I watched this movie. The thing that I kept thinking about was how global this is. It's truly the most diverse superhero film we've ever seen before. And that naturally made me think of both of you all's children, who really are a diverse representation of what the world actually looks like. How big of a role does that play into your decision process as actors, generally speaking? Selma, let's start with you on that one.
Well, for me, it's a different perspective, because for me, it's like a moment that you've been waiting for centuries, you know, and that finally you feel you're going to be part of something that it's historical. It is historical. It's just never happened before in a movie like this.
Yeah.
And it's just including the director. And what we were talking about, age, it's part of the diversity.
Yeah.
And we have an actor who is deaf. And we don't talk about it in the movie, because the whole goal, I think, of diversity is enriching ourselves by stepping out of ourselves. You can never embrace your own humanity if you are not ready to embrace other human beings. If you think you're better than them, if you're angry, if you're afraid of them, you have judgment of them, or even if you don't know why, you just don't want to, you don't feel you're the same, you don't want to be associated. Some people don't even know why. I've asked this question. You can't embrace your own humanity, your own potentials. And what was beautiful about this film was that it was such a big deal for me. I was so excited and proud to be a part of, and shocked that that it happened, that I was in it. And then in the middle of it, I completely forgot. Because that is what diversity should be like. You're just with another human being that you love or that you don't. It has nothing to do with specifics, you know? It's just because of the chemistry or not, or who they are. And it's a really amazing group of people.
Yeah. Angelina, how about yourself?
I'm sure without even being aware of it, they influence everything that I do without thinking. But but this film, when it was explained to me what this cast, who this cast was going to be, and how, and the intention behind the film, and what it was about, and what it would say, and I didn't know much more about it or my role or anything. I just wanted to be a part of it. I just wanted to see this kind of a family up on screen. I wanted to, and I of course wanted my children to see this, and I want it to be normal. I want it to be not just normal, not just accepted, but I want people to be excited. I learned so much from this cast. My life is so enriched by knowing more people from different parts of the world, or dealing with different things, or all things that we can share and contribute because we're different. So I hope that my children know the value of that. I believe they do.
Yeah. You know, one thing that also unifies the two of you is that you both have voices and are unafraid to use them. I'm curious to know, you know, where were you both in your careers when you felt you had the agency to be as vocal as you all have been, especially these last few years, which have felt exceptionally unedited? Selma, let's start with you on that one.
For me, more than my voice, and I think this is where also we understand each other really well. More than my voice, for me, it's not so much what you say, it's what you do. So for me, it's more important that 90% of my commitment, it's in the doing that you don't hear about.
Yeah.
And only a smaller percentage you use your voice, as where I'm the most efficient. But what we do, it's also a part of your voice. It's in a different way, but it's a part of your voice. It's a part of the essence of what you believe. And also, only by doing it for real, your voice becomes powerful and it resonates in someone else's heart. Because you've walked the real path. And then when you talk about it, it's not just because somebody wrote you something, because you've been doing it for 25 years, for 30 years. It's about the things you don't hear from me, the things you don't hear from me. It's what you are feeling in your heart when I say the other things. And I think in that way, she's been doing it for a long, long time now. She's very eloquent with the voice. Be careful. She's very, very eloquent.
At what point did you feel confident to be as brave as you have been, Angelina? Like, did you hit a certain milestone, or did you just hit a moment where you said, you know what, this is what I'm going to speak, and I'm not going to be afraid to speak this truth?
I've never been very good at not speaking when something's on. You know, I think I've gotten in a lot of trouble, or that was just me since I can remember. I'm just somebody who, I don't even know why something should be right. You know, you believe, as Selma was saying, you believe certain things, you come from a good place. You know, my thing is always, if you don't intend to hurt anybody, then everything else is fine. Yeah. If you come from the right place, let it out, create, think, be open, or else we're all just being very careful. I don't know how I can't breathe in a world like that. I can't exist in a world like that. So when I see somebody, even if they're making a mess, but they're being authentic, I am relieved, I am engaged, I am with them. When I see somebody who is being artificial and careful, and it makes me uncomfortable. So, I probably should have been more careful. I just don't know how.
Yeah, no, I think this industry has probably been better for that. Are you both encouraged about the out loud conversations that have been happening in Hollywood this last year, both with regards to gender and race? Do you feel like there's some progression that's happening? Selma, and I'm thinking of you in particular because I read the article recently where you talked about not being given roles because of racism. Quite frankly, people did not think that a Mexican woman could lead a film. Do you feel like there have been some shifts right now?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, a lot. And I just now want to wait for the day when it's done out of respect and not out of politically correctness.
Yeah. Yes.
I'd also like to add that I think you're one of the reasons why you and your body of work are a part of the shift. You know,
Yeah.
artists like you are have just been doing the hard work. I'm sure you've done lots of things, where you thought I could do that, but I'm gonna have to do this one.
Yeah.
But I could do that, but I'm gonna do this as the best I can do, and I'm gonna, and you've just done consistent work, and you've been so gracious, and you just represent as you are.
But you know,
we receive your art, we receive your generosity, your heart, your creativity.
but
You
now I'm about to get into trouble.
does
Huh?
open something.
I'm about to get into trouble. So I'm
Okay,
gonna
get
say
into some
something.
trouble.
Mm,
I'm a little bit confused at this point.
mm,
Because the conversations are a lot of conversations,
Mm.
too much conversation.
mm,
And it seems to me like now the conversations are a lot of conversations, but they're only two, this side or this side.
mm,
And I don't want to be put in anybody's box.
Mm. Mhm.
And it's like pressure. You have to have the opinion on this side or the opinion, or else you're bad. And
mm,
I don't know. There's a lot of things that are not how I envision them, and I need some time to think about it. And I
mhm,
don't want to be completely put, like there's issues. They ask me general issues as I go, tell me the individual story. Tell me the individual story. I'm against fur. One time I went to work with the Inuits. If they don't kill that amazing animal, the seal, they don't eat.
Well, that's
And we
very
need to
different.
do
Yeah,
something with the fur.
that's very
So
mm,
am I against 100%? But maybe when you tell me that story, I'm not against that one. So it's not black and white everything, and they expect for you to. They're actually saying, not asking your opinion. They're saying take a side. A lot of the questions, and
mm.
I'm going to tell you
we want to
where
have the deeper conversation. I think
I-
that's right. I
I-
think we all want to have if we're going to talk. And
Yeah.
again, I feel like I'm, not in a place to be having a lot of these conversations because I don't know. But I
you
do feel like to be able to ask a lot of questions and go really deep and to have the conversations and take
For-
them as far as they can go.
For
are important.
example, one thing that confuses me, and I'd
Mhm.
love to hear your opinion.
Sure.
I wanted to be integrated into the stories of being a woman, being a human being. And it looks like we've evolved, but it's a little bit now a different type of separation.
Mm,
Okay, no, now we are
Mhm.
very, proactive with diversity. Let's do a Mexican film. No Mexican with Colombians, they're different. I'm like this when I start getting confused. The Colombian film, the Mexican film. I mean, okay, and then you start thinking, but people can also act, but it is important that they tell our story and that we tell our stories. Yes, but
mm,
and then here comes, the African American film. And are we uniting? Are we integrating?
Mhm.
Or are we again segregating in more boxes? Huh?
I think,
Mhm.
and I really, I don't feel this is my place to speak on this, but I think there's what they talk about sometimes in like repatriations or post-conflict is a rebalancing, right? When something's been
That's where we
so
And
imbalanced,
this is where we're.
you have to kind of counter with the other extreme to rebalance before it settles into what I think we tried to do even in this film, which is more it's normal and it's family, right? And it's
Mhm.
not about that. It's about these other issues, and we happen to be right where it's not a question that you are,
Exactly.
who you are in this film as a leader, as a woman, and it's not an issue. That's why I think we wanted to join them up this,
I
but there
agree
will
with
be
you.
this time right now where it
Uh,
feels extreme.
And in this time,
the
be careful,
rebalancing.
because if you say rebalancing, you might be not the right answer. No,
Yeah.
it's not enough. It's not, everybody is so attached to having an opinion that is, you know. So I'm
Yeah.
a little bit more, I want to listen. I want to learn. I
Yeah, and
am
rebalancing is more like
confused.
the therapeutic term, right? It's not the kind of political term.
No, but I
it's the
understand.
idea
If
of,
we need to find a balance. We need to be careful also, so that we do rebounds and not, we need to be alert, engaged. The conversation has to continue. I'm going to be a little bit careful with the
Yeah.
conversation for a moment, or say,
or recognize the intent. Try
Yeah.
to recognize the intent. But
the
there's a
moments where I'm
lot.
confused. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what do you think?
Listen, I'm right there with you, ladies. You guys are, like I said, leading voices in this industry. And I think that this film certainly is a step in the right direction. And I want to see more of this. I would like to see some declassified, films. I don't think we should just have, Black films and Colombian films and Mexican films to
I
satisfy
want to work with the
demographics.
Declassified, that's an
Colombians.
interesting-
I want to
yeah.
work with,
That's an interesting
I want to
term.
interact with the African
Right.
Americans.
Right, exactly.
Bring me on board.
Yeah, we want
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, let's all
I
do
wanna
it together.
experience